And welcome
to Nightmare Nation,
a podcast where we talk about paranormal things and haunted places around the world.
And Ouija boards.
And demons.
And seances.
And cults.
And UFOs.
And ghosts.
And all things paranormal, scary, that we can scare your pants off of you while listening to this on your car ride home or in your house, you know, whatever, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Or really,
maybe while you're pooping on the toilet. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and that's actually probably the perfect place to do it because this podcast is just so scary. It'll make you shit your pants.
So we just help you and your digestive system, you guys.
We make you regular, and then if you're on the toilet anyway, then you don't have to worry about changing your pants after.
And then you don't have to wear a diaper.
Great.
Because you're already on the toilet.
That's how scary we are.
We're so scary.
Can you not tell?
Gosh, we're just the scariest.
I'm so frightened right now. I don't even know what to do with myself.
Well, it's a good thing we're recording in the closet because you got the bathroom right next to us.
Good.
Toilet's just a little hop, skip, and a jump away.
We're coming to you from Anna's closet.
My closet!
Today.
This is the first time we've recorded here.
It's exciting.
It's so exciting.
I finally lugged my equipment over to Anna's place so she didn't have to drive over to my house for once.
Because we're hanging out here tonight getting crazy.
Yeah, and
it's gonna be perfect.
If you couldn't tell by the first minute of audio, we're a little hyper. And I don't know.
Had some tequila.
Something about recording in a closet is just so satisfying.
It's just the best.
It's a pretty good setup.
It's a good setup. We're quite not really comfortable sitting on the ground. I mean, I'm not comfortable. I don't know about you.
I'm like medium comfortable.
I'm getting warm.
I'm not like uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Kind of medium. Like me during my whole tattoo yesterday.
Yeah, she got a new tattoo and it looks fucking sweet.
I love it so much.
Oh my gosh.
But the whole time, because like
so cool.
For a lot of it, he had me like laying down on my side.
Which makes sense.
So my skin would like lay flat, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, it's not like laying down on a bed. I'm like laying down on basically like a little operating table. And I was like,
did he give you a pillow or something?
Kind of. Yeah, he gave me like a wedge thing to like put under my arm or whatever. But you know, it's not like super comfy.
No.
But you know.
Yeah, her tat looks real cool, guys.
I love
it. I should post a picture of it.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah, in case y'all want to see my new ink.
It's a little kind of soupy right now because she's got a little like a saran wrap something over it, so it's kind of just like blotchy black, but the picture after she got it done is fucking sweet.
Yeah, so
it's so cool.
It looked a lot better right after it finished versus now that all of the like healing juices and
juices picture that, friends.
And excess ink is like oozing out, so it'll be cool in like a couple days.
Yeah it looks so good.
It's fine.
So then she made me want to get a tattoo, and so it's probably gonna get it in the next couple months, in hopes that I can get an appointment. Yeah. I know that since Corona, everyone is like shut down, and now everybody and their mother wants to go get a tattoo.
Yeah,
now the places are open. So
get a tattoo of a Ouija board on your back.
Yes,
and then we can do
Ouija board.
I will Ouija board your back.
No, because then I'd be like a fucking portal to all the demons and devils to enter my body, and I'd just be possessed.
Yes.
No.
And it would be cool
no.
as hell.
How dare you?
I want to perform seances with your body. That sounds really dirty.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds strangely sexual. It was not my intent. I'm sure someone out there has a tattoo of a Ouija board.
Oh, I'm sure. It wouldn't surprise me.
And then we'll just pull a little disc down, a little glass thing, and it'll just like slide around
my body like this. What are the ghosts telling you today?
Your ghost
I wish you guys could see what we're doing.
Your ghost is telling me to have another shot. What is happening? Oh my god.
Woo! We are here to bring you comedy and all things scary. So, you know,
I feel like we're not that upfront with the fact that this is primarily us bullshitting for several hours and being stupid. And then there's like a little bit of horror intertwined.
But, you know, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Because people love us, I think.
Maybe. To be determined.
I think we're pretty fucking hilarious, if you ask me.
Speaking of horror things, that trailer was so scary.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
You guys, if you haven't checked out the Facebook post that Anna posted, by the way, I'm Annie, that's Anna.
Hi, I'm Anna.
Hey.
Hey, friends.
There's that trailer. So, Blumhouse Productions, films?
I don't know.
Blumhouse can do no wrong. I mean, they brought you The Conjuring. They brought you... No. Insidious. That's what I'm thinking of. Or did they do The Conjuring? No, I'm getting myself confused.
I feel like they're all just kind of correlated
pretty much
somehow.
like all the good major horror franchises are done by this group. And there's another trailer for a really interesting movie that Anna posted that I'm super excited for. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I slightly had a heart attack. So after I posted it, I was like, oh, I didn't know that this was coming out. I want to go look it up. So I Googled it, and it was like, release date, I think it was like October 2019. I was like,
oh, what?
Wait, what? This what? And then I looked later on, and it's coming out in like Germany, the UK. I didn't see anything for the US, so I don't actually know if it's coming out here.
It better
or not. But then it showed like 2020. I was like, oh, okay, good.
Oh, thank God.
Like, I'm not just posting something old.
No, it looks super good. I hope it's coming to the US. Otherwise, I will find a way to super legally find it online to watch.
Yeah, so
as
it's
a
called
legal person.
The Vigil. And it's this guy who is staying at, she's not Ukrainian.
Isn't it, like, Jewish?
Yeah, like Jewish. And he's staying at this house. It kind of reminded me of the Babadook a little bit.
Yeah.
Where, like, there's this monster who stays in the house, and she tells this guy that, like, you're not allowed to leave the house, and if you try, then this monster is gonna come and get you. So, like, it reminded me a lot of the Babadook, but it looks like there's only a handful of actors in it, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
I'm ready for, like, a decent, high-quality horror movie to come
hasn't
out.
been
I feel
one
like
in
it's
so
been
long.
a while.
Yeah. Because all the ones that come out now are just stupid and predictable. And like,
I know.
I'm going to go run into the shadows and I'm going to go find a killer.
So Anders and I watched a really, really bad horror movie. Like, we knew it was going to be bad. We watched it on purpose because we wanted to, like, have a drink and laugh.
That one that you fucking showed me that one night.
A horror movie?
Yeah, it was like this guy who fell in love with this girl, and it was really terrible acting. It was when we had a girls' night, and you fell asleep during it.
Shit, what was that?
I don't know, but it was really stupid.
Oh.
It was the stupidest movie in the whole fucking world. I was like, why are you making me watch this
Because
right now?
so I personally...
This is terrible acting.
I really, really enjoy, like, terrible, trashy horror movies. Like, because, like, I feel like the horror movies that are actually, trying to be stupid on purpose are not funny. But the ones that are legitimately trying to be good horror movies and are really bad, those are the ones I really enjoy. Because I feel like maybe that's just, like, slightly sadistic of me. But, like... Thinking about the fact that someone tried really hard to make a good horror movie and, like, it being as bad as it is just makes me laugh really hard. And so we'll, like, sit and, like, play drinking games, like, Anders and I, of, like, how stupid these movies are.
That
we
sounds
saw
perfect.
one. We watched one called Dead Con.
Oh, that sounds awful.
So think
already.
like Comic-Con, like big convention, right? Except for this one, it was like a bunch of like Instagram influencers, like social media influencers. And they go stay at this hotel and the room is haunted or whatever. And there's like this ridiculous death scene that happened so fast. Like it came out of nowhere and it happened in the course of like 2 seconds and then it was done. And then it just cut to the next scene, like moving on. And we're like,
oh, this person died and that's about all you're going to get now.
And we're like, what the hell just happened? Like this dude, oh my God, it was just the worst. It was so stupid, but so funny. Like I enjoyed it so much, not because it was good, but because it was so bad. And those
are the best because they're just fucking hilarious.
Well, and I feel like that's just kind of the norm with horror movies now. It is. Like, they're either, like, okay or so bad that they're funny. Mm-hmm. Like, it's pretty rare to have one that's decently scary.
I feel like there hasn't been one since The Strangers.
That was a good movie.
That one fucking terrified me.
We were also, like, 15 when we saw it.
Right.
So we were kind of naive babies.
Only horror movie that I have ever screamed in. Ever.
Yeah, but again, like we were 15, and I felt like I was like a horror movie virgin when I saw that movie. Like, when I see shit now, like nothing scares me. I know.
It was so cute.
I still think Sinister is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Was our first one The Grudge? What was the first scary movie I made you watch?
It was either The Grudge or Black Christmas.
Oh, was it Black Christmas? It may have been Black Christmas. Mm-hmm. Because that one is, oh God, that one's disgusting.
Yeah, it's not like scary, it's just like,
yeah.
Okay, so let's get back on track.
Yep.
Back on track.
Back on track. It's gonna be our new theme song when we go on tangents.
Yep.
So tonight, Saturday night, 5:39 p.m. So, we were looking for a next place to talk about, and I saw a super cool article with all sorts of places on it, and I totally forgot about this one because I saw the Ghost Adventures do this one. I thought it was the coolest fucking thing. So we are taking you to Portland, Oregon
In
the Shanghai Tunnels.
the Shanghai Tunnels. Not because they're located in Shanghai.
No, they're
for
not.
Other reasons.
Sorry, not to confuse you guys.
It's in Portland, Oregon,
Portland,
in case
Oregon.
you missed that piece.
This is the first one we've been done in Oregon.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So this is super exciting.
It is exciting. And it's super, like, messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so weird.
I'm so fascinated by the whole idea of, like, these underground crime organizations, which is essentially at the center of this whole story. And, like, that shit is real.
It is. And it's still going on today.
Yes. And actually, I remember being super weird. So, like, Anders and I were talking about this because when we went up to Duluth and, like, spent some time on the North Shore of Minnesota, like, we would, like, stop and, like, I would use the bathroom at the gas station, and there would be signs in the women's bathroom with, like, on the mirror, like, are you safe? Like, if you're a victim of human
I've seen
trafficking,
those.
like, call this number or whatever, call this hotline. And I'm like, holy shit, is, like, human trafficking a big deal in northern Minnesota?
I
Like,
guess
of
so.
all the places. It's just crazy. And that's
Right?
what this story essentially comes down to, is just, like, underground crime gangs and, like, human trafficking. And it's so bizarre
Yeah.
and just fascinating.
Have you... I'm going to go off on tangent real quick again.
Real quick.
Have you seen the post going around about how Wayfair is a human trafficking organization?
The people I bought my fake ficus tree from?
Yeah.
No, not a ficus. It was a fiddlehead fern.
A fiddlehead fern.
I bought a fake tree from them, god damn it.
Yeah, so there's, like, posts going around of, like, these cabinets and, like, other household furniture going for, like, $12,000 or $17,000 with weird names attached to them, and not every single, like, furniture item has the same name. So there was one that was, like, let's call him Johnson. I don't remember his name, but this guy went missing in let me bring it up. Let me bring it up quick.
Google.
I think it was, it might have been Oregon, actually.
That would be a crazy coincidence.
So his name was Samaya, and it's a 5-shelf storage cabinet for $12,000, and it's a missing kid from Columbus, Ohio, who's 17,
with the name
Samaya Mummin. And, like, there's all sorts of other, like, kids who have been missing, and all, like, these storage bins or, like, pillows or mattresses
with people's names,
with people's, like, last names attached to it for real expensive. So people are going around saying that Wayfair is essentially a human trafficking, like, website for these people, and this is how they're trafficking, like, children and other people.
Did I see too that they were, like, taking down the, like, they were, like, deleting the links to the
Oh, yeah, it says Wayfair literally deleted the cabinets that were up for more than $10,000 to hide their sex trafficking scandal. The internet busted a frontline tracking operation right in front of their eyes.
That's crazy.
And, like, it's something that there were a couple people I saw on Instagram who were posting about it, and then I saw a couple people on Facebook. I was like, oh, I don't know, like, what it is or whatever, and I started reading. I was like, oh, that's really fucking
so
weird.
Messed up.
But yeah, Ben and I have been on a conspiracy kick for, like, the last
week. Okay, we need to do
some other things.
We need to do a conspiracy theory episode.
No, and it's all, like, with Reddit.
Yeah.
And okay, so that's.
Well, so I always wondered about that because every once in a while you see, and, like, to be fair, like, I always think about when I worked in, like, digital imaging for Best Buy, we had a camera lens that went for, like, $30,000, and I was like, who spends $30,000 on a camera lens?
Right.
But it actually
there
was a
are
camera
people,
lens.
right?
And someone bought, like, one a year or whatever. But then Anders and I were looking at, like, getting some new lighting for our house, and there was, like, an antique lamp that was going for, like, $42,000 from this lighting company, and it's a lighting company off of Highway 13. We drive by it all the time, and I was like, who spends $42,000 on
who has that money
on a table lamp? It's not like it's a fucking lighting system for your whole house. It's like a lamp.
That's like a down payment on a goddamn house.
And I get it. It's antique, but, like, now I'm kind of wondering, like, whenever you see those bizarrely expensive internet sale items, now I'm questioning.
Are you actually buying that, or are you buying a human and like, someone is just going to show up at your door?
That's so
like, what?
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a little creepy. So just be careful on what you buy online, friends, okay? Because you just don't know what you're going to get.
You never know when you're buying a human.
Exactly.
And, like... Not to make light of the fact that human trafficking is a real thing and it's awful,
Right,
but
yes.
holy shit.
But, like, why would you buy a fucking cabinet for $17,000?
You wouldn't. They're going for a specific person. It's it's got to be some sort of like money laundering thing.
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never bought anything from Wayfair, so I'm okay.
I bought my goddamn fake tree from them.
Well, it's probably a person chopped up in there.
Trapped in my tree. Oh no. But it wasn't $12,000.
Okay,
It was
well,
a reasonable amount of
Okay,
money.
so that's
maybe
fine
it's
then.
not a human. Oh my god.
Perhaps not.
Speaking of human trafficking and
The Shanghai Tunnels.
the Shanghai Tunnels.
Back to
We're
original
20
topic.
minutes into our episode.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right.
It's fine. This is what we do. This is why we podcast.
Okay.
Okay, so the Shanghai Tunnels are also known as the Old Portland Underground. It is a group of passages in Portland, Oregon, underneath the Old Town and Chinatown neighborhood that connects to the main business section. So it's just a bunch of different tunnels that come in from the Willamette, I think, river, and go into a lot of like the businesses and stuff surrounding the river. So, like I just said, the tunnels connected to the basements of many hotels and taverns to the waterfront. They were originally built to move goods from the ships docked on the Willamette to the basement storage areas of the different businesses around the area. So it just allowed the shops to avoid any traffic and to be able to get their goods faster than having to put them onto a truck than to deliver them, where they could just get it off of the boats and get them delivered directly to them.
Okay, so it wasn't
these
built to
tunnels.
be like a sleazy underground
No.
thing. It was built for like a practical purpose.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then turned into something terrible.
Yeah.
So the tunnels were also said to have been constructed to support the illegal practice of forcibly supplying crews to outbound sailing ships in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The practice was also known as Shanghaiing, which arose out of the web of international maritime law and practices in the 19th century when a captain ruled his crews through a labor contract. So Shanghaiing, if you don't know what it is the practice of kidnapping a man for service aboard a sailing ship. So the Shanghai sailor was usually drunk or incapacitated by knockout drugs, which is a drug in liquid form added to drinks to cause unconsciousness. So essentially like a roofie.
You're essentially like date raping people.
Pretty much, but
well,
putting them onto a ship so that they
forcing
can
them
be
into
used for labor.
servitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
They were also forcibly grabbed off the streets, hauled out of opium dens or houses of prostitution, or they were cleverly dropped through deadfalls, which are trapdoors that were situated in a wide array of establishments.
So they legit like grabbed people and like flung them through a trap door to drop them into the tunnels?
Yes. So what would happen is there was one in it was the Hobbit? Hobo
The Hobbit
Hobo
hole?
something in Portland, Oregon. It was a bar.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was
I
a
forget the
bar.
name. Yeah.
And they had a trap door, which is right next to a door that went outside. Mm-hmm. So I think there was like a lever right by it or a lever of the bar that would open up a trap door that would drop them into the tunnels where then they would get taken by the kidnappers and then...
So, like, something out of a freaking Disney movie
like
where someone pulls the lever and the trapdoor opens.
Yes, I instantly thought of Edward... Is it Edward Scissor... what's the musical where...
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. Thank you.
Also Tim Burton, also Johnny Depp's.
Yeah.
Almost
I
Edward
instantly thought of that one where you're a barber and then you just get dumped underneath the tunnels.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're
Yep.
just like, I'm just trying to imagine like walking in to get my drink and someone
And
like
then-
pulls a lever on you and you get dumped into a pit.
Uh-huh.
Like you're freaking, oh my god.
So they essentially what would happen is like these outsiders would come into the bar, they'd start drinking, and then they're called, what are they called?
Crimps.
Crimps, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Crimps would pick their person out of the bar and then they'd like touch their hand to show like this is the person that I want to kidnap and take to the boat. So then they'd essentially like roofie them. They'd get prostitutes to calm them down, take them out, and then they'd get them to the trap door, and then they'd drop them into the tunnels.
That's pretty elaborate.
Right? Like they had a whole system going on for this.
And the crimps were essentially like the muscle of the organization, right? Like,
they're essentially the pimps nowadays. Oh. What you think of?
Yeah. I wonder why they were called crimps.
I don't know. It's weird. Weird name. So... when the trapdoors would open, the men would fall into the tunnels below and they were taken into a holding cell. And the kidnappers would often take their shoes off because they would litter the floor with glass so they couldn't run away. And if they tried to run away, the kidnappers would just essentially follow the blood trail and then find them.
Oh my god, that's some Saw bullshit.
Yeah.
That is literally like in the Saw movies when you like force people to walk on broken glass. Oh my god, that is so
you're not getting away from these crimps. You're just stuck.
I mean, it's horrifically genius. And you can just follow, like you said, follow the blood trail.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
And you're good to go.
Oh my god, that's so awful.
So in the Ghost Adventures episode, whoever, like, archaeologists and stuff had gone in and they dug up a bunch of shoes from that time.
Yeah,
that were
just
down
like the
there.
people whose shoes had been discarded because they wanted to make them barefoot on broken glass. That's cool.
Yep. So then the people who were kidnapped were delivered by the crimps to the ship's captain before sailing time. And they literally held them captive until the captain told them, like, hey, we're about to set sail in about 20 minutes. So then they would go in, drug the people who were held captive, and then take them to the ship. So that they didn't know where they're going or what they were doing.
So they were being, like, stored in the tunnels.
Yes.
And kept there until it was time to leave.
Yep.
And they called it Shanghai, right? Because most of the ships were headed to, like, East Asia.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So women were also said to be taken into the tunnels, and they were used essentially as white slaves or brought into prostitution as well. So many of the men were, like I said, drugged on their way to the ships and didn't wake up for 2 to 3 hours after they were already on the ships. So they didn't know what was going on. They couldn't fight, whatever it may be. So then for many of these men, it took them usually 2 voyages, which is around 6 years, to finally get back to Portland and to get out of the shithole that they were trapped in.
So did they have, like, an in with the, like, local police then? Or, like, local law enforcement that, like, no one... Because I'm assuming... So then if the people come back from this, like, 6-year voyage... Oh, my God, I can speak English. So then the people come back from this, like, 6-year voyage, and they are basically, like, they leave... And then, like, I'm assuming most of them go, like, tell someone, like, hey, I was kidnapped and forced into, like, servitude. Or,
I mean, I feel like back then, I don't know if they had, like, actual...
There wasn't, like,
police
a process
trailing
to, like,
it. Yeah. So I don't know what they did. Like, did they just go back to the family like, hey, I'm home. Sorry, I was taken
gone for 6 years at the bar
to be a slave. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So some estimate that around 1,500 people were shanghaied every year through the underground tunnels.
Every year?
Every year.
Oh my God.
And it went on for quite a few years.
For decades.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep, that's a lot of fucking people.
That's a lot of people.
So like I said, a lot of the times the captains were in dire need of new crew members, and the captains would pay the crimps around $50 to $55 per head that they would bring to the ships. And then some of the main saloons that were used for Shanghaiing were Erickson Saloon, the Snug Harbor Saloon, and the Valhalla? Sure.
Yeah, Valhalla.
Valhalla Saloon. And the men that were primarily taken were sailors, loggers, cowboys, sheep herders, and those who worked on the river, as well as those who lived a wanderlust life.
So basically anyone who was, like, physically fit.
Pretty
and, like,
much.
capable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So then in the late 19th century, wheat became a lucrative exported crop, and that was when Portland developed as a major Pacific coast port. So most of the ships that came into port were from Liverpool, Asia, and Europe. And so by the time the ships got to Portland, most of the crew, like I said, were dissatisfied with the captain and sailing, and a lot of the time it was difficult to keep the crew, so that's when they would leave the ship, and then the crimps came in to get them more people to work on the boats then. So then there's a lot of discrepancies about actual Shanghaiing and if it happened, because there isn't a lot of documentation to the extent of Shanghaiing in Portland. There is data from the Sailors Union of the Pacific indicated that it was primarily a problem on ships in the Trans-Pacific trade, and that it was common in West Coast ports on the Puget Sound, the Columbian River, and the San Francisco Bay. So then, a couple years later, was the development of large steam-powered ships that took over the use of sailing ships. So it required the crews to be trained on like these ships and stuff to be able to run it. And they were also operated, financed, built, and managed by international corporations. So steamships also provided better working conditions and were more a stable employment for seamen. And because of this, Shanghaiing had ceased by the end of World War I. And when I read that, I was like, seriously? By the end of World War I? Like,
that seems so early.
Right?
Yeah.
And
or maybe it seems late. I don't know.
Like, to me, I feel like it seems late. Like, that's still the 20s era. Like, what?
Yeah, I guess relatively speaking, it's not that long ago. I guess I was just thinking, I was forgetting how quickly, like, the technology advanced to be able to do, like, steamboat. And so for me, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot they, like, had stuff where you don't need, like, a full crew to, like, literally hoist the sails and everything, because like you have steam power. And so I guess in my mind I was just confused about the like technology piece. But yeah, relatively speaking, that's like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That's only a couple of generations. Like, that is really crazy.
So in 1933 there was a journalist by the name of Stuart Holbrook who broadcast stories of Shanghaiing on the Portland waterfront in a series of articles in the Sunday Oregonian. I didn't like that word.
Oregonian?
So from his stories, it contributed to the emergence many years later of the stories of a network of underground tunnels used for Shanghai trade. So historians of the Old Town District have confirmed that Shanghaiing and crimping occurred along the riverfront, along with a lot of other criminal activity, but they have not found any evidence of any network of tunnels linked to them. But then I also read in the same article that a lot of the tunnels that were close to the waterfront were closed up due to public works projects.
So they could have made changes to the original tunnel structures, what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. And like they had there's like cells and like down
like there's evidence of stuff that could have happened. Like there's the shoes down there. They have tunnels. You can see the trap doors from above the restaurant.
And you can't tell me that they're going to use the trap doors from a restaurant to like drop goods into a tunnel network.
I don't
that
fucking
makes
think
no
so.
sense.
Exactly.
And like there's like holding cells, which I guess you could argue could be for storage of goods, but like
they're locked on the outside. Why would you need to lock it for storage?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like I don't think so. You can say this on, but no, fucking bullshit.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah. They were also said the tunnels were also said to be used for immigrant workers and for some more illicit purposes, such as opium dens and drinking during the Prohibition.
Yeah, I have a couple of interesting haunting stories that have to do with the Prohibition era.
That's exciting.
Fascinating.
So now the Cascade Geographic Society conducts tours of a portion of the Portland Underground, but no tunnels that lead directly to the waterfront are known to exist today.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, so those all were either like worked on by the city or closed off. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
But nowadays, Portland, Oregon is still considered a very large area for human trafficking as well, and people are still used for prostitution and works like slavery work and that sort of thing. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Anytime you're like on the coast in like big cities, that's where it's easy to transport people across international waters. It seems like it's a common spot, which is why I was kind of confused of like how many different times we saw signs about like ending human trafficking in like friggin' northern Minnesota along the coast of like Lake Superior.
Close to Canada?
Oh, I guess. I didn't even think about that.
Guess.
That makes sense, but
them Canadians wanting the human traffickers.
Yeah. I just I don't know. Like, Canada just seems so innocent to me.
They just seem so happy
They just seem so happy, and they like their maple syrup and their mooses.
Yeah.
And their,
Exactly.
You don't want human slaves.
No.
What are you doing?
You just want your mooses and trees, okay? Yeah. Don't be dumb.
So.
Tell me.
Haunted.
Yes.
Tunnels are haunted.
Tunnels are haunted.
Figure. With all the horrible things that happen there, it's definitely haunted. So my sources were portlandghosts.com, ranker.com, nbc16.com, and ghosts.hauntedhouses.com.
Mine were Wikipedia, OregonEncyclopedia.org, portlandtunnels.com, and atlasobscura.com.
I love Atlas Obscura.
I know. They
always
have so many things.
So much good stuff.
That's so great.
So there's a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of just kind of like general things that people have seen, and then there's a couple of like very specific spirits or events that people have like seen that are very creepy, and like one of them in particular gives me goosebumps.
Yes.
But okay, so needless to say, throughout the years there have been many reports of paranormal experiences in the tunnels. So many visitors report feeling unexplained goosebumps and a strong feeling that someone is watching them from the shadows. Mm-hmm. Others report seeing quick movements in the shadows and feeling ghostly fingers on their shoulders when no one is next to them. So
just little fingers tapping on your shoulders.
Little scratches. So pretty much like textbook haunted stuff so far.
Perfect.
So while most of the spirits in the tunnel appear to be good-natured, other guests report feeling strong feelings of being unwelcome, like something is literally just watching for them and like waiting for them to leave and like wanting for them to leave.
That's scary.
Which I feel like that's always the feeling that leads to people like running out of haunted hotels in the middle of the night or like leaving their homes because they like feel like something wants them gone.
Yep.
So a lot of people report feeling that in the tunnels. It's also very common for people on tours to hear crying, moaning, and screaming when walking throughout the tunnels.
Oh.
In some of the underground cells that we were just talking about, some people have heard a male voice whisper in their ear, "Get out." While others...
They don't want you.
No, he's like, "Get GTFO."
Yep.
While others report hearing a very similar, if not the same whisper telling them to stay.
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
That's conflicting information. Make up your mind.
What do you want me to do? Okay.
So apparently they had some like volunteers, and I don't know if they were like leading tours or like helping with tunnel maintenance or what, but they had volunteers down in the tunnels that heard these whispers, and it scared them so badly that they quit and never came back.
Oh, damn.
Yep. Some locals have even claimed to have seen, heard, and even smelled unusual things from the nearby tavern and pizza place, because they had a lot of businesses that were built, like you said, on top of the tunnels, and they've like seen and heard and smelled things that shouldn't have originated from any sort of like restaurant normal operating of business.
Like, did they smell something bad, something good, food?
It didn't say specifically. I would imagine maybe it's like a weird sulfur smell that's like associated with ghosts commonly. And then there's also, I'll get into this later, but there's a like female apparition that people have seen that smells really strongly of perfume.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if that's maybe what they're smelling.
Could be.
Okay, so some of the specific ghosts that people have seen. Many have reported seeing the ghost of an Asian man walking past them in the tunnels and then disappearing. So many people have seen the same apparition that they've started to give him a name. So they call him Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Which would not be an Asian name, so that's kind of weird. But so they say he's responsible for the lights turning off by themselves in the basements of many of the bars in the area. And Sam also apparently likes to move things around in the tunnels as people are walking by.
Damn it, Sam.
He just
quit
likes
moving
to
shit.
Shifting shit around.
Yeah.
One tour guide reported hearing a disembodied voice calling out the name Sam over and over again, which echoed like all the way through the tunnels to where he was leading a tour. So he heard it like originate from somewhere really far away, and then it like echoed all the way to his location.
Oh, damn.
And he said that like he could see everyone in his tour group was like behind him. No one else had gone ahead or whatever, so he didn't know where that sound could have possibly been coming from. And they like regulate the people that go down into the tunnels. So he said that like his entire tour group too also was like, what just happened?
What's going on?
What's going on? And that we all heard it. So it was like more than one person heard it. And he said it was one of the scariest things that had ever happened to him in his life.
Huh.
Just Sam.
I mean,
like
that'd
echoing.
be terrifying.
No, thank
just
you.
Someone constantly walking towards you.
That just made me think of the catacombs in Paris. That might be interesting to do for an episode. I've been there.
Seriously?
I've been in the catacombs.
What?
And they made a horror movie about the catacombs.
Oh, that'd be fucking
I have to
sweet.
imagine.
When the hell did you go to Paris?
Spring break when I studied abroad, we went to Paris for a week.
Oh, okay.
And we went in the catacombs, and it was like the coolest effing thing I've ever done in my whole life. It was amazing.
Sweet.
We waited in line for a really long time to go.
That's fine.
But it was worth it.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that makes me think of, I'm sure people have heard similar things where like sounds echoing throughout the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause, like, I'm pretty sure the catacombs has like, I'm going to get this number wrong, but it's like 250 miles.
Oh, there's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yep.
So, okay, so his whole tour group got scared. He got scared. Everyone's very scared of Sam. But most visitors of the tunnel say that Sam is a good ghost.
Oh, Sam's just trying to help you get out.
He's nice, and some people are even excited when they feel his presence.
Oh.
So he's like never tried to hurt anyone. He's just kind of the friendly tunnel paranormal
Sam.
apparition. Yeah. So another famous ghost of the tunnels is Nina, who served as a victim of human trafficking and was forced to serve as a prostitute at the Merchant Hotel. So it's not the Merchant Hotel today, but at the time there was a hotel where she was basically forced into prostitution and served a kind of a high class clientele. And she was found murdered at the body of the hotel's elevator shaft.
Oh, jeez.
So her...
Oh, I remember hearing about that in the episode.
Yeah.
She's like thrown down the shaft.
Yeah, and she's the one who they like think that the perfume smell belongs to, because she tends to, like, whenever people see her like apparition, they tend to smell the faint scent of perfume when she's around, even though no other like humans are around. So she likes to haunt the pizza place. Which is,
I mean, if I was a ghost, that's where I would haunt.
Well, seriously, like, she has the right idea.
That's
but
perfect.
It's also where the hotel used to be. It's the same site, so they either took the hotel and converted it into a pizza place, or like tore down the hotel and rebuilt it. I'm not totally sure. Mm-hmm. So there, she's commonly seen wearing a black dress and standing on the balcony overlooking the tables at the restaurant. So she just likes to chill,
just hanging out
with her perfume,
loving life,
smelling all that delicious pizza and wishing she could eat it.
Right? That'd be the life.
So this is an interesting story. So in 1902, there was about 100 men who were drugged and shanghaied onto a ship called the Jennifer Joe.
That's a lot of fucking people.
It's a lot of people.
Jeez.
So it must have been a relatively big ship.
Yeah.
And so they basically got drugged, brought on board, and then chained up below deck, because I don't know if they needed them like later for a voyage or something, or they didn't want them to escape. They basically all got chained up. The ship actually sank in the Portland harbor, and everyone drowned because all the men were chained up.
Oh my gosh.
So they have been seen as a group, like, coming into the area, like in the tunnels on the anniversary of their deaths, and people have witnessed them come back like as a group, just like this giant army.
That'd be terrifying.
Of, like, ghosts. And I was
oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I like seeing one ghost would be scary.
Hundreds of ghosts coming at you,
like pissed, drowned ghost dudes looking for revenge. And people have reported feeling that, like, when they've been touched by these apparitions, their handprints feel like cold and wet, like they drowned.
Oh, I don't like that.
I have no idea how real that story is.
Oh,
I
shit.
just kind of love the idea of this, like, angry ghost mob, like, swarming out of the ocean, like, rising up out of the Portland harbor and, like, coming to, like,
that'd be
revenge.
a perfect movie.
Seriously, it's like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Be sweet.
So yeah.
Poor people.
I know, it's a lot of people. So during the speakeasy years and during Prohibition, when it was illegal to drink alcohol, one of the basements of the businesses that connected to the tunnels was run as a speakeasy by a group of gangsters. So they had this kind of like secret bar area in the basement of a normal business that was something other than a bar. I don't know what exactly. So apparently one night a rival gang showed up, and they were wearing stolen Portland police uniforms, and they started killing everyone who was there. So people were just there at the party, like drinking, having fun, participating in illegal activity at the time, but just like basically drinking and having a good time. And this rival gang was like, no,
you're not doing this.
You're stealing our business.
Sorry.
So they start killing everybody. So basically, because they like swarmed into the basement, they had no other choice. Like the people who were there had no other choice but to try to escape through the tunnels, because they were like blocking the exit up out of the basement. So they run into the tunnels, and they're like being pursued by the rival gang. They get to this like narrow point in the tunnel where not everyone can fit at a time. So they get slowed down, and they all get like massacred essentially.
Shit.
Being chased with like axes and guns.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like someone just running down a tunnel with an axe towards you.
And you're being chased. And then you get to a point where you can't keep moving. You're stuck because it's a narrow point and not everyone can fit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's when you like hide in the corner and hope that their bullets don't go through everybody, so you don't get killed.
Or my thought is always lay down and pretend to be dead already. Yeah. And hope to God that they're not going to come do like second tap.
Yep.
Yeah. Double tap. Yep. So yeah, so basically they catch up to everyone. All the remaining partygoers are killed by this rival gang, according to local legend, and people who go to the bar where this happened have reported seeing multiple ghostly shapes come rushing up out of the tunnels into the basement and push their way up through the pub.
Oh.
And like bump into people, knocking over drinks, bumping chairs, like basically trying to run away as though they're being chased by murderers or like something.
Damn.
And so I just gave myself chills.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like these and so like I don't know if they like actually see the ghosts or what, or if they just kind of feel this like presence and then they start to see drinks getting bumped over or whatever. But basically every once in a while they'll like feel this like rush of like ghost energy trying to, as though it's trying to like run away from a pursuer coming up from the tunnels and out of the bar.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Fuck.
There's also been paranormal activity reported in Scooter McQuaid's Bar and Grill, which or was that supposed to be Scooter? I think it was supposed to be Scooter. Scooter McQuaid's Bar and Grill, which is located right above the section of the tunnels where everyone was killed.
Oh,
so
okay.
They get it like floating up from the tunnels and seeping through the floorboards, I guess.
Ghosts just seeping through.
Yep.
Coming for you.
I love when ghosts seep.
It's disgusting.
Such a good word.
So gross. I don't like it.
Seeping up through the floorboards.
Seeping ghosts.
I don't like it.
Delicious.
Okay, so some other kind of like random paranormal things that people have reported seeing. So some psychic mediums have investigated the area, and a number of them have reported seeing large, hulking, shadowy figures with burning red eyes in the tunnels.
That's terrifying.
Yes. So they believe that these are the ghosts of some of the crimps who were rounding up and enslaving people, and have suggested that maybe the burning eyes is like a sign or like a symbol of eternal damnation for their involvement in the underground like human trade.
Fuck you.
So like
stay in hell, bitches.
Their hellish shadow ghosts are like have their eyeballs just like burning because they're in hell, I guess. So
good.
Yeah. And a lot of people think too, so like a lot of people that say they feel that like overwhelming like thick atmosphere feeling of like I need to get out of here, or like feeling like they're being watched, they think it's the spirits of the crimps like watching them, waiting for like their next victim.
That makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
Some other common spirits reported in the tunnels are known as tricksters, who like to tease people.
Little silly tricksters.
So they're essentially what you always talk about, where you just like to pull shit on people all the
that's
time.
what I would be as a ghost.
Yes.
It'd be the greatest thing ever.
That's essentially what these guys do. So they just like pull on people's shirt tails and like pull on their hair. And so like one time there was this one guest who said she felt a small tug on her shirt and then she tripped and like fell over. And so she's like, she didn't get hurt or anything. She felt like it was a ghost pulling a prank on her, trying to get her to like trip. Like, you dick.
Asshole.
That was like, the whole time I was taking these notes, I was like, that would be Anna. Anna would do that.
You fell.
You fell, now you look stupid.
Yes.
There's also a generic lady in white ghost.
Of course there is.
What place
Always.
doesn't? You know, I feel like at this point, if there isn't a lady in white mentioned
It's
at
just
your
not
haunted house, then it's all bullshit.
Exactly.
Then you're lying.
Yep.
There has to be a lady in white.
Yep, exactly.
So people report seeing her in the tunnels and in the surrounding businesses as well, but some people think this is just Nina, so she's usually seen wearing black, but other people have reported seeing her apparition also wearing white. So in those ones, I'm not sure if she's actually like wearing white necessarily, or maybe she's just kind of like a white cloudy figure. I don't know, but some people think it's just Nina. One man reported hearing sounds of childlike whistling in the tunnels.
What?
Like a little high-pitched, like little kid is always whistling. I'm a really bad whistler. I don't know
what the difference between a child whistle and a person whistle.
I mean, I don't know. They've got smaller vocal cords and smaller mouths. Maybe they just like it sounds maybe younger,
it's like super high-pitched.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I could not whistle as a kid, so I couldn't tell you. So child-like whistling.
Okay.
Not totally sure. But then he heard that sound and then he was like immediately thrown to the ground. So he thought someone had like pushed him over.
That's a very aggressive child.
Super mad. Well, you'll find out why he's mad in a second.
Okay.
So the guy gets thrown to the ground. He quickly stands up and like whips his flashlight around to be like, who the hell just knocked me over? And there's no one there. And he told everyone, he's like, I'm never going to visit the tunnels ever again because I was so terrified by the fact that some unseen force knocked me to the ground. But what other people have reported seeing in the tunnels is the ghost of like an 8 or 9-year-old little boy that people have seen in like a couple of different places in the tunnels. And they believe that he's the ghost of a boy who was hired to empty the chamber pots of victims who were locked up in the tunnels.
Oh.
So like, that's messed up. That's child labor. And 2, that's a horrible job for a little kid.
No.
So
the poor baby.
he could just be super pissed about the fact that he was like cleaning up poop and pee from human trafficking victims in a dark tunnel.
Jeez,
and
the poor kid.
I know. And he just hangs around. I don't know how true that is. That's just kind of the theory.
Right.
So lastly, the tunnels under Portland were visited by ghost adventures, as you've already mentioned. So while they were there, Zach and team caught some EVPs in the catacombs and the tunnels where spirits seemed to be like joking around with them. So as an example, Zach was having a, quote, conversation with who they thought to be Nina. So it was like this female apparition. They were having he was asking questions, she's responding, and Nina basically told Zach that she wanted him to get naked, apparently.
Oh, good.
So he was like asking her questions, and then they go back and record the response, and they think that she's telling him to get naked. And I'm like, well,
she wants on.
I mean, she was a prostitute,
right?
So
she'll take whatever she can.
Maybe. Zach also caught an ominous purple form without legs following Nick around on his thermal imaging recorder. So
that's weird.
Basically sees this like creepy legless purple blob following Nick around, and then a couple of minutes later, Nick like started getting super lightheaded and was feeling really sick and had to like sit down and rest for a minute. So I don't know if something was trying to
coming at him,
making him feel sick.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's all I got.
Well, friends,
that's what I got.
That's the Shanghai Tunnels for you in Portland, Oregon.
That's
and super fun.
I just think it's so cool that those tunnels still exist and you can go like tour them.
Yeah, like they didn't just close everything up and say like, nope, sorry, you're not going in there.
And like it was so dumb at like my small liberal arts school where I went to college. We had like underground tunnels that connected the buildings or whatever. And it was super nice actually in the winter when it was really cold. We could just like go in the tunnel and not get blasted by like negative 40-degree winds or whatever. But like just the whole idea of like having a labyrinth of underground tunnels just freaks me out so much.
That's so weird.
And these ones were like small and like there was no place to like hide people or like trap humans. Right. But like even then I was still always kind of creeped out when I was down there, just like being underground and isolated with no view of the outside. I always just like found that so scary.
Because you just never know if the tunnel could just collapse and there's so much world on top of you that you're just fucked.
A lot of earth.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, fuck that.
Terrifying.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Claustrophobia to the max.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I've grown to be more claustrophobic in my adult years.
I'm just claustrophobic all the time.
Yeah,
it's
bad.
It's terrible.
Did I tell you when we stayed in Duluth, we had a hotel room with no windows?
Oh, that's terrible.
It was awful. I didn't realize it when I booked it. I just wasn't paying attention, I guess. And we got there and there was no windows. And were
you like on the inside then?
Yes, they had a whole inside wing of rooms that had no windows.
Oh no.
And we were like, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God.
How am I supposed to escape?
I like panicked and freaked out and like looked, and I actually looked to see if they had other rooms available because I was going to like ask them if we could upgrade to a room with the windows, but they didn't have anything. And we just sucked it up and we didn't spend a whole ton of time in the hotel room anyway. But I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that this was a thing.
That's terrible.
I didn't know that there were hotel rooms with no windows.
Do that.
Yeah, it had 2 doors, but no windows.
Nope.
It's very strange.
No, thank you.
But
I don't want that.
Nope.
Well, friends,
send us your stories. We want to hear from you guys.
NightmareNation19@gmail.com, please.
Or check us out on the Facebook at Nightmare_Nation19.
Yep. Send us your suggestions.
Send us any suggestions.
On places you would like us to speak upon. Give you the history and haunting locations.
Check us out.
That's always fun.
Yeah, and check us out on Instagram at nightmare.nation19. Anna posts some good creepy photos.
Yeah.
We've gotten a couple of interesting pictures sent in from other listeners.
I would just like to say thank you to, I think it's Tam Borgeson. I am sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She sent us some awesome photos when she went to visit the Stanley Hotel.
From our last episode.
Yeah.
So great timing.
They're fucking sweet. There's all like these little blue dots that I think are orbs, but I'm not fully sure. But
they
I don't
look
think
like
they're
orbs.
flashes.
They're too patterny.
They are. And they show up in so many different spots. So y'all need to go check it out because they're freaking sweet. So thank you Thank you so much for sending those in.
Yep.
If you guys have any of those pictures, send them in. It doesn't have to be a place that we've already done. We just want to see them because we think it's freaking sweet.
We also want to hear if there's been anything creepy or unexplained that's happened to you in your lifetime, or maybe someone you know, a relative. Like my dad grew up in a haunted house.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet.
I didn't even know that.
It was amazing.
So cool.
I love that story.
Gosh.
So, yeah, tell us your stories. Send them in. We want to hear from you.
Heck yeah. But until then, friends,
Stay safe.
don't use Ouija boards.
Please don't.
Please, just
Unless
don't be
it's
stupid.
Anna's back tattoo Ouija board, which
then we can have all the fun seances
but
off
I
my back.
exclusively will be using that.
Yes.
That will not be open to the public for use.
Just Annie's
me.
use.
I have special privileges.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Sorry to get your hopes up.
Ugh. All right, friends. Until next time.
Bye.
Okay, bye.